a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for March 10th, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game S Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Mario the 10th be with you. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game S Mornings. It's Jordan Midler from VGC, everybody. Jordan, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. You know what? For audio listeners, I don't know. We look like some cool dudes right now. That's all they need to know, right? That's all they need to know.
Like cool dudes.
Yeah. I was saying right before we started, you look like a contract killer, and I mean that as like the greatest compliment I could possibly say to any fellow bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You look like you're going to pop up on my TikTok algorithm, and I'm going to think you're some right-wing psychopath, but you're actually a really in tune left-wing debater, and you pwn these Republican lawmakers wearing your Game Boy t-shirt.
Thank you. Yeah. Hell yeah. I think I wore this yesterday. That's how I'm doing. That's how I'm doing, everybody. So there we go. All right. Well, you know what, Jordan, we got the weekend coming up. There's games still happening, but overall, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling about this year so far?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. The games are happening. They're happening at a decent pace. I was on a trip last week to Hamburg, which was the first of the year. Weirdly, I don't think I can say what it's for, but I can say that I was allowed to tweet a large statue of Gollum. So, I mean, who can say? So the trips do be coming up. The games are happening. The games are happening.
The games are happening, man.
The games are happening.
The games are happening, brother. They're out there and they're happening.
But yeah, pretty good. It's like super bright in Scotland today. It was snowing last night.
Yeah, same here.
Now the sun is splitting the sky, so I'm pretty happy. I'm going to go out and get absolutely pissed this weekend.
Is the snow still on the ground out there?
It lasted it was there this morning. It's mostly gone now because it's so sunny today that it's mostly just gone.
Right. I mean, yeah, sunny Scotland. That's the nickname, right?
Sunny Scotland.
When that sun reflects off that snow in the morning, it is the most blinding thing in the world. I like it. I'm like, yeah, sear my eyeballs away. I don't even want to have eyeballs anymore. You're right, sun. Just destroy them. So yeah,
that's why we're running the sunglasses today.
Exactly.
It's too bright. There's too many haters. We've got to keep them out with these sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't even. This is the polarity of these glasses actually blocks haters. They don't even get through. It's just that actually the polarity of these glasses only just blocks this monitor up here that has all my important stuff on it, and it's completely black. I can see it. It's black. I can see it. It's black. Yeah, it's not. They're gamer glasses, and let's just say that's not very helpful. All right, we have to get into this mess, but before we do, let's explain what we do here. For most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game S Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League delayed again. This is a report out of Bloomberg and Jason Schreier. I got this story from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. Warner Brothers Games scored a hit with Hogwarts Legacy, and the studio was set to launch another game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, in May. But it appears those plans have changed. Bloomberg reports that the game is now delayed beyond its previously announced May 26th release date. A new date was not published in the report. Jason Schreier said the delay is no cause for concern. It's mainly for polish, the reporter said. The game was originally slated for release in 2022 before getting pushed to 2023. The game was featured during a February State of Play broadcast for PlayStation with an extended gameplay demo. Some people didn't like the game's live service approach, but Schreier said the game began as a games-as-a-service title and will launch under that business model and setup. GameSpot, a bunch of other people reached out to WB. WB has not said anything about this yet so far. Jordan, I'll say that I've heard since this story broke that the date that is even getting thrown around is potentially 2024. So the game could get delayed into early 2024, which would seem like a pretty substantial delay considering we're in March right now. So that's almost an entire year of delay. But again, this is just, it's what I'm hearing. It's from a good source, but it's like, to me, it sounds like that this stuff is still in discussion about exactly how long they're going to delay it. Let's say the game comes out later this year, and then Versa's coming out early next year. What do you think they can do to this game to actually get it in a place where people are happy with it?
Happy with it? Nothing. It's too late at that point. It's in the bones of the game. It's in like the fibers of how they decided to make that game. But depending on how long you delay it, it sets up the expectations of the audience. Delay it 6 months, it's like, okay, maybe it comes out, it takes away the glowy weak spots, it's a bit kind of fresher, it's a bit cleaner. Delay it a year, people are going to start to expect, oh, this total reboot, which we know is not feasible at this point. Like, that game is probably done, and it's just like getting polished up for now. It was going to release in like a couple of months' time, so I think they're going to have to be very careful the way they communicate this when they come out and say it.
Yes.
And if it is a full year and they do end up just like stripping out the flying numbers and the season passes, it's going to feel like a game where you can feel the bones of a games of a service in it that was stripped out at the last minute, which is almost worse than just going in two-footed and trying to make a really good games as a service game, which is still possible. Like, it's people just kind of write it off as games as a service equals shit, but they could make it a really good one of those as opposed to like a launch Avengers. What was your vibe on the gameplay? I know you've gone on about these weak spots in like every podcast for the past month, but where are you at with it?
Yeah, thanks for pointing out that I repeat myself a lot. I'm not self-conscious about that at all. I think that the gameplay looked okay in spots. It looked like, hey, that jumping around looks fun. The flying around looks fun. That one guy's got a jetpack. Who has a jetpack? Is it the shark? One of them has a jetpack, and so that looks like Anthem. And so, okay, well, it looks like the good parts of Anthem. But the game also looks like it has the bad parts of Anthem. So it's like, okay, that's where the concern comes from. I think in a lot of spots. It's I don't know. It's so easy to judge it and put it in a spot in your brain where it's like, this looks kind of weird. It's not jiving with me immediately. And therefore, I'm going to especially notice all the things that look bad to me because I'm already putting it in the I don't want to spend my time on this part of my brain. And so I definitely feel like, me personally, I won't speak for anyone else, but me personally, like, all the stuff that looked bad was super amplified coming out of there because it's like the stuff that I don't like was really bad. And so it's like, yeah, I just kind of maybe want to avoid this if possible. But it's still like when I try to like put that stuff aside, it looked like maybe they have something in terms of like fun locomotion, fun, maybe even gunplay. I immediately go to like, why is this superhero game about gunplay? It's just especially one from Rocksteady, who basically created this entire genre of superhero, combat games where it's like everyone references it. Hey, it has Arkham Combat. And like, that's not the game you're making. Okay. I mean, I get you want to try different things, but why is the different thing another third-person shooter? That's pretty weird.
Like, when's the last time a game mechanic was so synonymous with one game or one series that it comes into the, like, Souls-like, Metroidvania, Arkham Combat? Like, they made a game that was that significant. So for them to then put out this, which obviously no one's played, but it doesn't seem like what people would have wanted, which I was always curious for them, because Suicide Squad inherently doing a team-based thing when you've done this very monolithic you are Batman stuff always seemed like a weird fit. But yeah,
it also doesn't seem like it plays to the strengths of the Suicide Squad, right? Like,
yeah,
because it's like, here, we're going to give you 4 heroes that might use guns, and that seems to be the reason that they're going with Suicide Squad. And instead, like, Suicide Squad should be like, on any one of these missions, one of these assholes could die, and maybe we're just going to replace him with another weird villain from the DC universe, and you kind of have to just move on, almost XCOM like, where it's like, yeah, you had that guy for a few missions, but now he's dead, and that happens. And like, is there any chance of one of these villains betraying you? And it doesn't seem that way. That's not the game they're making, and so it just feels really sterile and uninteresting at every turn. And I don't think this is at any of these criticisms are something that this developer is unaware of. I think they know all this. I think they sort of sanded off all of the rough edges to get a game ready that could ship and maybe make some money. And it probably has some really fun elements to it and also has some weird stuff to it. which really brings us back to, okay, now does this delay even make sense? I saw Marino in chat when we were talking about this say they should have just shipped it and moved on. And part of me thinks like, yeah, you just had Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think there's any world in where you turn this game into another Hogwarts Legacy. Maybe you just take your hit, take your miss, and move on and start working on something else, right? Jordan's frozen. He's very frozen. Oh, there he goes again. You back? Nope. He moved a little bit. And then
hear me? Hello?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Hello? That entire time?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I could hear you that entire time. It was just a blip.
Okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. There's we have 3 bars on Discord. Usually it's like it tells us if there's an issue. So so if you heard me, then basically what do you think about should they have just put it out? Like, wouldn't that have been better?
Yeah, because at this point it's kind of a rescue mission at this point. Where that was asking that point about how it should be this big menagerie of villains. Like, make it a Harley Quinn game. Like, you're always playing as Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad, but the amount of people in your team get Calendar Man, get Condiment Man, fucking Polka Dot John, all these people.
Polka Dot John, yeah. He I think he was one of Jesus's apostles, I believe, in the DC universe. Yeah,
yeah. They did teach that at my school. We're very anti-religion, as you can tell by my demeanor. But I think the comparison to Hogwarts Legacy is interesting because there is no modern Harry Potter game for people to compare against. So this was like wish fulfillment. It's the first one in ages. It's like it had all this stuff going for it. This has everything going against it in terms of the legacy of the studio. How many people love those games? The fact that since Arkham started the superhero game boom, there has been so many good ones. The fact that also this year we're getting Spider-Man 2, which is likely to be excellent. Like, it's if a Warner executive just looks at that in the sheet and is like, well, this game has fucking Superman and Batman in it, it should be doing the same numbers that this Wizard game from a franchise whose main series of films ended 10 years ago, we should still be able to pop it up. So yeah, it's weird. I can't wait to play it. Like, I'm so curious about it. I really can't wait to play it. Yeah,
I want to. At this point, I do kind of want to see for myself as well. I'm if it came down to like, oh, do I have to to decide if this is a game I want to spend my own money and time on, and be like, oh, weird. But like, at this point, it's a professional curiosity. Let's see what this thing actually turns into. I really wish we could get a look at the game as it is right now before if they make any changes to it. I want to see what it's like now versus what they actually put out. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Sounds like they are probably going to delay this before they do any sort of hands-on stuff. And I don't think they've done any previews with the press so far, right?
No, not as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, no, me neither. I can't think of anything. So we'll see. We'll see if they even announce this, when they will announce this. It's Friday. They might send it out with the trash today.
Yeah, keep an eye on Twitter, chat. If you have Twitter open, keep us informed, because it would be such a, especially today when there's other shit going on, no one cares. It would be the perfect time just to throw it out.
Yes, it feels like yeah. And if it doesn't get announced today, it's I don't know, mate. Man, I mean, I think what you said earlier about them trying to decide the language about how they announce this is probably what's holding this up. That sounds right.
Yeah, they can't come out and say, you lot told us our game looked extremely shite when we showed it at State of Play, so now we're going to run away and try and make it a wee bit better. It has to be like, oh, we just wanted to make sure it's polished, and we've been waiting 40 million years. We've been waiting 40 million years to bring out the latest game from Rocksteady. We need it to be perfect.
Yep.
And it comes out and gets 2 stars on VGC.
Yep. And those founders of Rocksteady have already moved on. They're gonna be.
Yeah, they've fucked off big time.
Yeah, they're like, peace.
Not my problem.
Yep. Fuck off, nerds. All right, moving on. Square Enix says Forspoken's launch sales were lackluster. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. The debut game from Square Enix's Luminous production studio was released on January 24th to middling reviews. Sorry, man. Isn't that offensive to you, Jordan? Middling? Sorry. With its Metacritic score currently sitting at 64 on PS5 and 63 on PC. Speaking during a financial results briefing on February 3rd, an English transcript that has only today been published, Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda said sales of the game had been lackluster following challenging reviews. However, the game has also received positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and this is a quote from Matsuda, by the way, its parkour and combat capabilities. So it has yielded results that will lead to improvement of our development capabilities of other games in the future, he told investors. That said, its sales have been lackluster, and while the performance of new titles with February and March release dates will be the ultimate determinant, we see considerable downside risk to our fiscal year 2023 quarter 3 earnings. A month after Forspoken's release, it was announced that developer Loomis Productions will be fully merged into Square Enix this May. Not surprising, right?
No, not at all. Anyone that's played that game could find out that's not surprising. Combined with Square Enix's historical, absolutely fucking ludicrous expectations for non-Final Fantasy games to sell, like there was no way. This was dead on arrival. Yeah, time for the NFT wave. The NFT era of Square Enix is going to be fucking. What if Final Fantasy 16 isn't really good? See if that's like middling or shite. Like what have they got? What have Square Enix got apart from like old Final Fantasy games?
I mean, Final Fantasy 14, which does print money.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Part 2 is probably going to be really good because that first one was really good.
Yes.
But like at some point they have to like make new stuff that isn't Final Fantasy that people care about.
I mean, it probably makes some sense to keep making good Final Fantasy for now, make that your core, because just based on what's working for Capcom. But Capcom is well into listen, yes, we have our old stuff, Resident Evil, I mean, Monster Hunter's old stuff as well, but now we have 2 tiers of Monster Hunter that are crushing, and we have all these other ideas. We're bringing back other older games, and they're like, people are super excited for Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. It's like, can Square Enix get anywhere close to that? And it's like, well, no, when Square Enix tries that stuff, most of most of those kinds of games that are like on Mega Man Legacy, Mega Man Battle Network level come and go, and no one talks about it. And they, like, he even mentioned that, like, a lot of the sales from those games that came out last year were didn't meet expectations. And yes, of course, we could point to Square Enix's weird expectations, but we can also point to these games probably actually didn't perform on any sort of metric. There is this other story here about Square Enix. Let's just jump to that real quick. Square Enix plans to launch blockchain games next fiscal year, says CEO. This comes from Insider Gaming. Square Enix CEO Yosuke Matsuda has said the publisher will be launching its new blockchain games in fiscal year 23/24. That statement comes following a disappointing result for Square Enix's latest results, Forspoken, of which the game's performance was described as lackluster. Despite the lackluster performance, Square Enix is still hoping that its blockchain games will be more of a success. The information comes via a financial results briefing that was published today about that meeting back in February. Here's the quote: "Major title launches will not be concentrated solely in fiscal year 24/23. We have organized our pipeline so that we will have a good spread of new releases in fiscal year 2025 as well and beyond. We also hope that you will look forward to the blockchain games that we plan to launch in fiscal year 2024 and thereafter." So that's the big idea. That's the big wave here. Also, I think Jordan might be frozen again for me. Jordan, I'm gonna actually, let me see. I don't know if I could do this. Let's see if we can fix this real quick. Jordan, I'm going to just maybe call you instead. Let me try that. Let's try that. Let's go to... I can't change the server on this one, Christian, if I could. If anyone's a mod in the Giant Bomb Discord, you could change the server. That would be very good. That would be very helpful. Let's see here. Yeah, because I can't change it. I don't have the access to do so. You think it's, you're on your phone? You think it's going to be better? All right, let's do it.
I just wanted to pop in to say that my internet just, what the hell's going on? I just wanted to pop in to say that my internet is just...
It's your internet? Okay, it's your internet? Okay, sounds good.
My end, not yours.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, do you want to try to like reset things, or what do you want to, what's the plan, you think?
I'm going to reset. It should be okay. You carry the ship. I will message you within like 5 minutes if it's all fucked. But
okay, cool.
I'll try to reset.
Sounds good. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. See you then.
See you.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Listen, the man's internet's dead. It's got Grubb disease. Exactly. I've infected him. That was good. I'm glad he called it with his phone to let me know what's going on. Yeah, solo Grubb snacks. I think I have a one up here somewhere. It's not anywhere. Oh, well. Let's just do that. Let's do it this way. There we go. Here, I'll bring this up. We can have like pictures and stuff with me. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to just kind of bring you guys into it. You know what? Here, how about this to kill time? All right. So there was a new Mario trailer that popped off yesterday. It's the final Mario trailer for the Mario Brothers movie. They're celebrating Mario Day. This is one of the ways that they're doing it. I want to watch it with y'all and get your guys' reactions. This is the direct. Let me see if I can actually just find the trailer itself. Let's go. Super Mario Brothers trailer. And there we go. 18 hours ago from Rotten Tomato Trailers. You guys aren't hearing it?
Where am I?
Ooh, fresh meat for the grinder.
Pay him no heed. He is cute, but he is.
There's gotta be a way out of here.
There's no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
Whoa! Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
My army! Koopas! Goombas! Whatever those things are!
Aww.
We will destroy the Mushroom Kingdom!
Bowser is coming.
I'm not afraid. I'll do anything for my brother.
We're going to save him.
Yes! Fire!
You asked for it. This is fun.
Here we go!
Attack! Let's end this.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, that's the double dash confirmed. Yes, where he just hops on the cart with the other guy there and rides on the back, and then yeah, there it is. That's pretty cool. So yeah, first of all, the game or the movie really does just straight up look like they're doing Mario, but Mad Max Fury Road there for the big action sequence, for what feels like, you know, the big climactic action sequence where everyone comes together and now they gotta go rescue Luigi. It looks pretty good. I'm still very excited about this. I showed it to my kids. They kind of freaked out, especially about the Rainbow Road. They just like rainbows. So yes, I'm also fine with that, with the idea of what if Mario, but Mad Max Fury Road. That is incredible. You know what? Let me just give you two of my faces. You guys get double the angles there. All right, let's move on. We're gonna just carry this show solo dolo and see if we can get through this. All right. Let's just go here. So the blockchain games from Square Enix, we'll wrap back around to that real quick. I continue to not know why this is their solution to everything, other than it seems like their board of directors has a real hard-on for NFT games. That they think that is somehow still an ongoing concern, even though the rest of the world has moved on from it. I still feel like they're going to abandon this, but it seems like at every turn, when given the opportunity to like slowly step away from doing NFT games, they turn harder into it. And boy, does it seem like we are going to just keep hearing about this, at least from Square Enix going forward. Capcom had an event yesterday. I got a rundown here, some of the stuff that was announced. First, Capcom is creating a digital theme park. The theme park, officially called Capcom Town, will include a digital museum documenting Capcom's history, as well as other buildings that the publisher hasn't yet elaborated on. It sounds weird, but I hope it's like Bubsy3D.com, that website version of Bubsy 3D, where you could go through different history museums as Bubsy. I'm into it. There's actually a teaser site for this. Let me see here. Capcom Town. It's they're building it right now. I think Capcom has enough. I think it has enough to do an actual theme park. I kind of wish this was real. Well, of course I wish it was real. That would be cool. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective Remaster gets its release date June 29th. It'll hit PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC for $30 that day. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is coming to Xbox and PlayStation on April 28th. This was already hit, obviously, Switch and PC, but now it's hitting those other consoles, April 28th. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. It's got some features announced. It will have the 499 patch cards. These were exclusive to Japan originally from Battle Network 4 on. And I'm going to mute this and play this. But now people can actually get these through a menu inside the game. So you can actually just have them without having to have the physical. I'm assuming these were e-reader cards. Seems like that's what they were. I actually have never heard of these things before this. But now they're just in the game. You could use them there from a menu. Also, the Buster Max mode is going to kind of turn this more into an action game. It's going to increase the damage that the Mega Buster does by 100x. And so you could just go in there and shoot things, I guess. And that's going to make it more... It's probably going to also make it much easier so that you could just get through the story if that's what you want.
Speaking of June 29th...
Oh, there he is. There's our boy.
I'm back.
There's our boy. He made it. Yeah, looking better than ever. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Shit.
I say that because June 29th is my birthday, just so everyone's aware. Put that on my famous birthdays account.
That's exciting.
Did I miss anything fun? Did you say anything ridiculous?
I did. I got canceled for some stuff I said about the Scots. So yeah,
Fair. The bloody Scotch. I don't know what the problem is. I pay a ridiculous amount of money for this internet, and the amount of times that it just goes nah, and I look it up and I'm like, is there a service issue? And it just goes nah, and then it sorts itself within about 5 minutes. It's not as if I have a job that requires good internet.
No, listen, who does that? Who needs that? That is actually one of the most frustrating things about internet. It's like, okay, you try to explain to your ISP, this is crucial to me, and it would be awesome if there was like, if I could just, I would pay even extra if I, instead of the 40 upload, if I could get, 500 or even like 100 up. Like, give me, like, let me just choose that. Can I take some of my download and give it to my upload? And they're like, what are you talking about? That's impossible. They've never even heard of such an idea. And it's like then you try to like get business internet and then no one ever calls you back there. It's so frustrating. So
especially because like I'm on Virgin Media appropriately. Way hey, I have 1 gig down and like 500 meg up. This should be like, this is basically this is NASA internet for Scotland. Like this is the most insane shit you can get. I am paying, let's say, £100 per month just for this internet because I need to download 80 gig games in 3 minutes.
Yep.
And then when it fucks up and I contact Virgin, they're like, oh well, who else are you going to go with? Fucking no one.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like, that's cool, bro. We'll get to it later. If you need to call our competition, haha, fuck you. There isn't any. God damn it. I just got people up on the NFT story. Then we talked about the Capcom rundown of stuff, and we were talking about what was coming to the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Also, Exoprimal got its release date, July 14th. It is coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. It's also coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. There's been like a recent run of Game Pass games that are like, oh, I probably wasn't going to be super excited about that game, but now it's on Game Pass. Maybe I'll check it out. Exoprimal for me is at the top of that list because it looks so stupid and I need to see it myself.
Yeah. Did you mention that they dropped the RE4 demo?
Yes, and that's the next part. Resident Evil 4 Chainsaw demo out now. Announced with a video that shows a Leon facing off against waves of infected villagers. The Resident Evil 4 Chainsaw demo has no time limit, so you can play as much as you want. The demo takes place at the beginning of the game, so you won't be lost if you're new to Resident Evil 4. I'm going to play this, I guess. I guess I have to play this.
Yep.
Boy, it looks really good. I guess we don't have to wait. When this game's out next week, right? No, this game's out like later this month, right?
The game's out like way later than you would expect for what's going on, like it was surprising.
Weeks out. What the hell? This horseshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send another email.
I saw on Reset Era that the PS5 version of the demo apparently looks a lot worse than the Series X version of the demo. I don't know if that's like what the issue is there, but
yeah, that's weird.
Like those games have generally looked really nice, especially since they went back and did like Resi 2 and Resi 3 PS5 patches. Like all that stuff looked good. I don't know. That might just be Reset Era lies. I would never accuse them of such things, but
Yeah, so the Capcom event happened. There was also a level 5 event. They had a bunch of stuff there. Deca Police, Fantasy Life, Megaton Musashi Wired, Inazuma 11 Victory Road. That's a soccer strategy RPG that actually I played one of those on the DS and I really liked it. That one's getting a worldwide release. This was like a Japanese stream, so it's some of these things were like, oh, is this coming? But that one seems like it is. They also had Layton and Luke reuniting in Professor Layton New World of Steam. This comes from Alberto Garrido at Game Reactor. Thanks to Level 5's Vision 2023 event, we now know that Professor Layton and the New World of Steam will be a direct sequel to Professor Layton and the Lost Future, as it picks up the story a year after its ending. In this new adventure, Layton receives a rather strange letter from his former pupil, Luke, who has immigrated to America to hone his detective skills. As they are reunited in this new steampunk aesthetic city, there seems to be a dark mystery that has young Luke worried. It looks really good. I'm actually super excited that it seems like they're giving this game like a full-on AAA level quality of visuals. And hey, that sounds great to me. I also think it's like going to be a big breakout moment for Professor Layton, a game series that always was successful, but it seems like now it's like on the precipice of doing something pretty big, and that's pretty cool. All-time great soundtrack, those Professor Layton games. I love the music from these games, so pretty excited.
It's a blank spot for me, but I know a friend of the show, Harry Mitchell, is an obsessive with Professor Layton games, and he just about jumped out his chair when this was announced. So it'd be cool to bring that back. It felt like there was a good kind of steady run of those games for a while. But
yes, there definitely was.
Yeah, bring it back. Why not?
Yeah, and it looks great. This is exactly what America looks like, by the way. This steampunk city with weird European buildings everywhere and dirigibles.
I'm going to America at the end of this month, so I'll be able to double check. In fact, I'm not going to say anything about America because I'm going to America at the end of this month, and I don't want it played to me in an immigration hearing.
That we rule by fear, not love. That's right. That's you should shut your mouth, or else immigration will get your ass. All right. Obsidian apologizes for the Outer Wilds Spacer's Choice Edition performance issues. This comes from Luis Joshua Gutierrez at GameSpot. It's only been a few days since Obsidian's current-gen version of the Outer Wilds Spacer Choice Edition was released. It was previously reported that the latest version of the sci-fi RPG was heavily affected by performance issues, including low frame rates and poor visuals across console and PC, and Obsidian has now apologized for the game's state. Writing on Reddit via IGN, Obsidian's Chris Stanek said that a patch is currently in the work via the game's publisher Private Division. I'm sorry that you all have been experiencing performance issues with the Outer Wilds Spacer's Choice Edition. I understand how frustrating this can be, and I assure you the team at Private Division is working on getting a patch out as soon as possible. When we have more information about that patch, we'll be sure to let folks know. The reason Obsidian keeps saying, hey, if Private Division has a patch in the works is because this whole effort is a Private Division outsourcing thing where they have another studio working on this. So Obsidian's hands are tied. They're busy working on a million other things. So they probably can't do much about this. But this is a real bummer because this game was not exactly like a cheap upgrade for anyone who was like, ooh, I'm going to play this on my PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X with native performance. It's like, no, you had to like have, excuse me, all the DLC. And even then it was a $10 upgrade. So this should have been better, right?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that the chat has been saying worlds over and over again because you said Outer Wilds like 3 times.
Man, that's just a stupid brain thing. Holy shit. Man, we need to end this week immediately. Outer Worlds. I wanted to say, I'm like correcting myself, and I even wanted to say it again right there. That's how bad it is. It's a disease.
This should be like, why is this difficult? It's like a PS5 version of a game that people are pretty stoked on. Like, don't fuck it up. It shouldn't be. There was a good headline. I think it was on PC Gamer that was like, now with 200% more bugs or something like that. Like, I really liked Outer Worlds. So I wanted to check this out, and then I realized because I had a review copy from way back in the day, it was like, no, you can fucking buy the new one. Like, you don't get no upgrades. And that's also the case on Game Pass. Like, if you got it via Game Pass, you had to straight up buy the new biggie.
Yep, yeah, $60. Just a whole new $60 purchase for a lot of people.
Yeah. Here's my question, Jeff, since it's just us.
Please.
So, Microsoft's E3 thing, avowed, definitely. What, a wee trailer for Outer Worlds 2? Or just not talk about it until maybe next year?
I mean, my gut tells me we don't talk about that one until next year. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Who knows? It's Obsidian. They do get they are in this place.
Microsoft's Insomniac. They just get games out as quick
exactly
as possible.
Right. Exactly. So it's like they are. If any studio was going to have multiple stuff ready to go for one showcase, it could be them. But I don't know. Microsoft has a ton of announced games they have to talk about again. And I don't think there's no way all of them get talked about. Like, well, I mean, obviously Everwild's not going to get talked about, but I mean, there's a whole bunch. Like, they probably won't talk about Perfect Dark and even Fable. So it's like, okay, well then we probably should get updates from definitely Avowed, but yeah, well, then what about Outer Worlds 2? I don't know. That game was just announced last year, right? That one feels like they could probably skip a year. That's why my gut says we don't hear about it this year. I don't know. And then it's like, man, I know there were those really, really early talks to have Obsidian then start working on Fallout New Vegas. Even that feels years and years away from ever being real.
For the pop alone, I know people don't like the show the logo, the game comes out in 50 years shit, but
right,
it's a cheap pop for me. If you do one or two of them, like, it's fine. If you show me stuff that you can play all of this in the next 12 months, ha ha ha. Like, you can do a couple of fucking pull out from some random like from like Fort McCarran or something with like a Caesar's Legion or something like that guy landing in the sand, and it's like, Fallout New Vegas 2, give us all your fucking money. Like,
I mean, I think they do need to have, because they mostly could do a show entirely of stuff they've already talked about before. They do need to announce some stuff that's new, I think, at least one or two things. And I guess, I mean, if you're going to have a bunch of these games starting to launch finally over the next year or two, having another one that's a couple years out, but that feels like it's more than a couple years out because Obsidian's just so busy.
Like it's a name on a whiteboard. The Gears 6 stuff was interesting because I was told directly last year that they were hiring someone to like write Gears 6, be like the narrative director on it. So if they're at that stage of that, like, that's 3-4 years away. Like, that's kind of a long-term push. Like, yeah, it feels like a generation where we won't have Gears, really. Like, Gears will be just absent for another generation, which honestly Microsoft has to move away from like fucking Forza, Halo, Gears. Like, it's
right. That's been the thing. So I mean, obviously they were looking to do that with Coalition, but then the Coalition canceled the other games that weren't Gears. So well, what's going on there? Yeah, it's weird. But then it's like, you cancel those things. How long before we actually get Gears? Like you said, it feels like it could be a really long time.
You're a coffee boy today. You all right?
Yeah, it's just it's like right there at the top of my throat. I feel fine. I'm just trying to get it out of my system, but of course it always attacks me right during the show. Okay, let's see here. Epic Game Store launches self-publishing, requires cross-play for multiplayer games. This comes from Cameron Faulkner at Polygon. Developers can now self-publish their games on Epic Game Store, the Fortnite and Rocket League publisher storefront for PC games. It's a milestone for the store as it has steadily gained features over recent years to better compete with Steam. Hang on, gonna cough again. This is like one of the things that we've been waiting for a long time from Epic, to let people just put out whatever they want on Epic. Do you think this is still even close to enough to make them have parity with Steam?
No, and I think that's like a ridiculous thing to chase at this point, parity with Steam. It's got to just be like it's also there. It's a decent alternative. Like, get it up and running with. I have a really good Epic Games library because they just shit out free games all the time, and I don't mind having it there. But yeah, it's the big exclusives thing is weird because it feels like doing a big PC exclusive. There's no win there, hearts and minds, because the story immediately following you do an Epic exclusive is Steam players are pissed off that this Epic exclusive is Epic exclusive. So I think doing it the indie way is a bit more interesting because there's no expectation. It's not like when was it Borderlands 3 that did Epic exclusive? And people were like, that one worked. Is a third game. Well, yeah, but this is the third game in a franchise that I have all the games on Steam. Like, don't fuck about with me here. Whereas if you do a new indie thing or an early access thing, it's slightly different. But I don't think I've played like a PC game in months. It's been very console heavy recently. Where's all the good PC games gone?
They're happening, early access and stuff. They pretty much said what you just said, that they're the smaller games that they just give away. Those aren't moving the needle for them very much. Instead, it is just the big ones. Borderlands was the very big one that actually worked a ton. So they're going to keep doing a lot of stuff like that. And then it's like all their like internal publishing stuff where it is like working with Remedy on Alan Wake 2 and stuff like that. That's what they're going to keep doing.
Can't fucking wait for Alan Wake 2, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that was always the right call for them to be like, we have all this money. Instead of waiting for a game that's about to come out and then paying to keep it off of Steam, which always was just weird, but whatever. They were right that was a strategy that could work. It was always better to just be like, what if we just funded a game from the beginning and created games that weren't going to happen otherwise? That's such a better idea. And it seems like that's going to actually work for them. All right, 3 more Call of Duty games are coming to Steam, and they're on sale now. This comes from Evan Campbell at GameSpot. Activision has brought more of its Call of Duty library to Steam, and the trio of games are on sale for a limited time. The newly added titles to Valve's PC storefront from FPS franchise are Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War, and Vanguard. Those are the 2019 through 2021 Call of Duties. They're on sale for 50% off right now. This is the full retreat. They're fully back on Steam, right? This is something that every publisher's been doing. Activision has completed it, right?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, what was the point in all of that? Like, we know what the point was to try and push it onto other storefronts, but fucking... what how those games run on the old Steam Deck, or if they have some layer of like Activision nonsense that doesn't let you do it?
I think you could probably play the single player games on Steam Deck, or find a way to do that. But it's you know, the multiplayer with the anti cheat. I bet that stuff's not going to get support.
Yeah, because I try and play some FIFA on the Steam Deck because I'm not poisoned enough, and it pops up like this big EA thing that just about works. You can see enough of the thing to put in your details, but it's clearly not meant for that.
Yeah, I was like saying, oh, I'm going to play Destiny 2, and then I remembered, that doesn't work on Steam Deck at all, and they're like, we're not going to ever make it work on Steam Deck. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm probably not going to play Destiny 2 then. I'm good.
Yeah.
This is I think this kind of comes back to when Valve was offered that deal from Microsoft, like, hey, we'll give you a 10-year like thing where say we're going to put Call of Duty on Steam, and Gabe's like, no, we know you will. Like, we know you're going to come back to Steam. We know everyone's going to. We're not even going to pretend like we need that contract because we know. And
I don't know if that's made the news, but did you see that Microsoft is running like ads in newspapers in the UK saying like, this will bring it to 150 million new players? It's like, no, the fuck it won't.
Yeah,
that's just not true.
Yeah, I'm like, what is the math on there? I guess they're saying because it'll go to Switch. Yeah, and like, so those players will have, but it's like, well, that's not. There's overlap there. So
also, Switch has a lot of very young consumers that are probably not banging out Warzone. Like,
well, listen, I've played Call of Duty online. I know that has not stopped any kid ever. They're all on it. Like, they're all on there.
So when Call of Duty 4 came out, I was 13, so you can imagine the horrific things I was saying on Xbox Live with that original like mic. But the younger era than that, like, they're not the ones that are destroying me and my pals at like 3 a.m. when we're playing Warzone. But yeah, can't wait till this is over, Jeff. I want to talk about literally anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like it's coming to an end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the EC seems like they're going to approve it, and then I mean, who knows what happens with the CMA and the FTC? But I don't know.
The UK will fuck it up. The UK fucks everything up.
Right? Yeah, it feels like the UK will be the one, and by fuck it up, I think you mean like we'll make it keep going for months longer than it needs to. It just at this point feels like all the arguments have happened. I know Sony put out yet another response to the CMA today, and some of their arguments, we're going to kind of go back to the like, here's why we don't want to have the deal from Microsoft. We don't trust them. And it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, these are a lot of the same arguments we've seen before. So it's all played out at this point. So just let the regulators make their decision one way or the other, and let's move on. Hopefully that happens soon. The UK will fuck it up. The FTC court case isn't even supposed to happen until like October or something like that. So God, miserable. All right. Get Diablo 4 early beta access by buying the KFC Double Down, the official sandwich of Dan Reichert. This comes from Jenny Zhang at GameSpot. Blizzard and KFC are partnering to offer early access to Diablo 4's beta. If you buy a Double Down or any other eligible sandwich at KFC, you'll get a free early access code for Diablo 4. Eligible sandwiches are the Double Down and the Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich. Why would you get that? The Double Down's up for offer. Jordan, have you ever had a Double Down?
I certainly have, Jeff. And you know what? I'm gonna put it down here. because the UK has mild food standard laws when it comes to their like fast food. This is why British McDonald's is actually decent, because it uses real meat as opposed to whatever sugar substance is in American McDonald's.
You mean the flavor crystals? Sure, yeah.
Yeah. A British Double Down with them British chickens. Oh my god, I wish it was back. If it was back, you wouldn't. I would be like Kingpin from Spider-Verse. The entire frame would just be my body, because those were elite.
Hey, doesn't sound processed enough. I need more processed food before I really feel anything.
But when the Double Down comes back, occasionally when it gets taken off the substitutes bench, I have like 2 of them, and then I'm like, I can't go down this road. That's enough for now. Like we don't get the really fucked up stuff that America gets, like what's the name of the Shamrock Shakes or whatever they're called?
Yeah, Shamrock McDonald's.
Shakes. We don't get that level.
Well, they're just called shakes where you're from, right? That's just the normal shake. It's like JRPGs. They're just called RPGs there. They're just called normal shakes. Look, there.
I'd much rather be called Irish than English. So that's fine with me.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
The Double Down is elite. It's a top tier fast food sandwich, as you guys would call it. Yeah. Why are they're just throwing fucking beta, much like when they were just giving friends and family access to everyone for Diablo 4, so the entire game was on YouTube. They're just like fucking beta codes. Just if you've looked at an Activision game in the last 20 years, you get a beta code.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like this is like, oh yeah, for sure, a good partnership, I guess. It doesn't feel natural, Diablo and KFC, other than the joke of like, you eat the Double Down, you go to hell, so you get the Diablo 4. Hey, there it is. Yeah, it's a weird one, but whatever. I'll go get a Double Down. And I'll live stream it, but just to you on Discord. No one else, just for you, okay? You can watch me get that real good American Double Down. The beta access runs between March 17th and 19th, and you guys can go make this happen right now in your lives if you want to. I bet that there is like similar deals in other countries for other fast food places, but we'll see. E3 week is beginning to come into focus. This comes from Oisin Konuke at GameSpot. A slate of details have been confirmed for this year's E3, with the new digital week kicking off the gaming event that's set to return for the first time in years. This year, E3 is starting things off with a brand new digital week on June 11th. This event will feature a number of online showcases, including the PC Gaming Show, Future Games Show, Guerrilla Collective, and Black Voices in Gaming. Publisher and independent press conferences are also planned to be announced in the coming weeks. How are you feeling about E3 at this point?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not fucking going, considering how expensive it is to get out to LA at that point. But mildly excited. I'm looking forward to the E3 time, like E3 week. I think will be good fun. There'll be plenty of shows to talk over. There'll be hijinks. The E3 event. VGC is an advertising partner of Reed Pop, who is running E3. So
full disclosure.
It's not what people want from E3, but I think if they can have a really good one with the companies they have, maybe next year they get one of the big 3. They get Nintendo, who's showing off the Switch 2. Sony's gone. Sony's not fucking coming back. Sony doesn't care.
Sony won't come back until Jim Ryan moves on, and even then, probably not.
The day Jim Ryan moves on is the day that I move on.
I know. I can't do this job if I don't have Jim Ryan anymore. It's so true. I need him. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to Jim.
The reason we had to stop doing the old podcast is because I just couldn't stop doing Jim Ryan impressions every week, and it got to the point where I was going to get into trouble for it.
I got in trouble for my Yves Guillemot impression. Everyone's like, that's racist. Well, I don't think it is, but all right.
See, Jim Ryan's just from Newcastle, so I didn't get into trouble for that.
That's the thing. It's like if you could do an accent and you know the city that the accent's from, I don't. That's never problematic. It's when you just do a generalized, like, oh, I'm going to do an accent of someone from China. It's like, no, don't do that. But if you do someone from Beijing, it's like, wait, how do you know? Like, you must know the culture so well that like it's a completely different thing. So, yeah, but I'm just doing Yves Guillemot from the Guillemot family. Disclose
some business secrets. What are you guys thinking? Like, you guys aren't going to all go out there like back in the day, are you? Like, is that worth it for you guys anymore? Like,
well, I mean, we're talking about it. All go out there, I don't know, but I mean, at the same time, at some point, it's like, well, no, I mean, it wouldn't be that bad of an idea, because for us, the idea is to get people together in a room to come talk to us, and if we're all there, we'll just come to us, and let's have some cool conversations in the evenings, figure out some stuff to do during the day. That does make a lot of sense, actually, still. And it does seem like, this this story about E3 coming together, coming into focus. It still says like, well, E3 is not saying like who's going to participate yet. They're going to let those companies announce it on their own time. The list that I've heard, and again, this could change, is like Capcom, Embracer, Konami, Namco, Ubisoft, Sega, Square Enix. Like Konami showing off Metal Gear stuff, like Square Enix trying to.
I've heard Konami's going to be showing off some Metal Gear
that
stuff.
somewhere. I'm trying to place it. I want to see like what an Embracer at E3 looks like. Kind of. I'm like, how serious are they? Like, what does this even look like? But at a certain point, it's like, well, even if it's just those companies there and their booths suck and the games they're showing suck, whatever. If they're there, other people want to come to have meetings with those publishers. The first party probably will be there in terms of having meetings. And that means they can come have meetings with me on a couch and I could talk to them and ask them questions about what's going on in the video game industry. The ones that actually want to talk to me. You
can ask them how games make money, the hit podcast.
Yeah, I guess how games make money. Yeah, that's an ongoing concern for sure. No, maybe I can actually talk to someone who actually knows how it works. And they'll So yeah, it'll be I don't know. I think it does make some sense for us, although I get it for a lot of people. If you're going there to cover stuff and make content based on what you're going to be able to play, that doesn't feel like it makes a lot of sense anymore. I agree. Everyone that's sort of thinking like, I'm going to maybe skip this. I totally get that. But if you come, you can maybe come hang out with us and talk to me and tell me how games make money learn me something for once.
I think I can probably invoice Giant Bomb for about 40 appearances on this program now, and I'll use that to pay for my flights over to LA. Just hang out on the couch.
I mean, listen, you send that invoice, you see what happens. Who knows? I mean, listen, someone will probably pay you. I don't know. Yeah, John Drake's gonna be there. Exactly. Like, yeah, John Drake's. I wanted to ask, just John, tell me what's going on. Like, I get the sense that he wants to make way many more deals than he's able to make. Is that true? What's going? Like, there's so many cool conversations we can have. E3 still feels like it is capable of empowering those kinds of conversations. So I'm interested. The big question for me is, what the hell is Jeff Keighley doing? Like, I know he's got his showcase on June 8th, and then he's gonna have his in-person stuff, whatever that means, and those following days leading up into like going into the weekend. Okay. Who's going to be there? I have no idea. Maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe From Software will be there and have the show off some DLC for I can't remember the name of the biggest game in Elden Ring. Yes. It's that would be great. But even not, it's still another situation where I bet cool people will be at that thing and we can have cool conversations and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna try to be there. That's my plan. Whoever else shows up, we'll see.
It's just you. You want to come over for Gamescom?
I do.
I
would really like that. Yeah, absolutely. When is Gamescom usually? It's like the fall, right?
So my hotel is booked for like the 21st to the 24th of August. One of the most fucked hotels I've ever. It's like the German take on like a Americana 50s hotel.
Oh boy, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, but it was cheap, so fuck it. So I'm hoping to head down there, play like 3 games, and then drink for the rest of the time.
Sounds perfect. Sounds great. I'm gonna go to I've been to a gaming event in Iceland. I want to go back to a gaming event in Iceland. That's my speed. Okay, let me eat some fish face or whatever it is. I don't know what they serve there. They got some good food though.
You're just making friends around the world, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the vulgar, ugly American, and I'm gonna play the part really well every time. Don't worry, everybody. Okay, I am looking to see what else we got going on. All right, we got the poll from yesterday. Let me see if I can find that, bring that up. Let's do that. Will Nintendo bring more non-Mario characters into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? 58.5% say yes, 41.5% say no. This is more optimistic than I thought people would be. I get the sense that they are going to probably just, poot out a few characters that are from Mario Kart Tour. And then if they have anything new, it would probably just be some other, maybe a deep cut Mario character, but I'm not expecting another thing along the lines of Zelda or Animal Crossing or the Animal Crossing characters. That's just, of course, Zelda or the Squid Kids. What do you think?
Put Kirby in it, but he doesn't have a bike or a cart. He just rolls. Like, he just rolls the entire time.
Yeah, just bring. You already have the character model from that like buffet race game or whatever. Yeah, do that.
It's weird. You've got to imagine this becomes Super Smash Brothers Kart at some point.
Oh, yeah.
People have been saying that for so long, and the game still sells a billion copies. The chat makes like I think I saw it float past in the chat. It's wild, and it might be a Pokemon Company thing that Pikachu isn't riding a bike in Mario Kart yet, because that is like Pikachu is Pikachu is like bigger than God. Like it's Pikachu the Beatles Jesus. Like that is the kind of recognition of the world. So I don't know. I keep hearing Mario Kart 9's right around the corner, despite Mario Kart Deluxe 8 selling 50 billion copies every week.
All right, I have a new poll question that I just came up with, and I'm ready for it. But in the meantime, Jordan, why don't you tell people where they can find you? You have a new podcast. Tell them all about it.
I'd like to officially announce next week's guest on the podcast.
Oh,
the one and only, rootin' tootin' Jeff Grubb will be joining.
Oh shit! Oh dang!
The VGC podcast. Not only this, it will be myself, drunk Andy Robinson, and Jeff Grubb. I mean, that is. Gaming Leaks and Rumors are getting ready for this like it's the fucking Super Bowl.
Let's clash. I want to reach out to all my sources so I can be ready to match Andy 1-for-1. I can't wait.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'll be like a tennis umpire, just like calling faults.
Just calling fouls. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Occasionally talking shit about Fable. If you want to listen to the podcast, this week we had the excellent Stacey Henley from The Gamer. You can go to lnk.to/VGC and that will take you to all of the various platforms that you can get the podcast. No, we're not putting it on YouTube in its entirety because we make a lot more money off of the podcast when it's on the podcast services. Also go to VGC. It's a good website. It's about video games.
All right. My new poll for Monday. Are you still redeeming free games from Epic Game Store? Yes, all of them. No, never was. There we go. Yes.
MN Goldie in the chat. Wow, so Jeff gets to talk to the people whose stories he steals for this show. I'm right here, brother. He talks to us all the time.
Give me my precious content. Yes, yes. Listen, I pay Andy. I'm never going to pay Jordan. I every story I've ever read from Andy, I've given him fair compensation, and I make it clear: don't give any of this to Jordan. Ever.
No, that's why when I go out to buy these steaks tonight, my card's going to bounce to the moon. But I don't care. They're never going to catch me.
They'll never take you alive. That's what I like about you. Listen, if they stepped up on you and they looked at you and they saw those sunglasses and that beautiful bald head, no one's going to fuck with you. They're never going to touch you. Are you still redeeming free games from Epic Game Store? That poll's up now. Go ahead and answer that. We'll get to it on Monday here on giantbomb.com. Speaking of giantbomb.com, what else do we have going on? UPF later today. We have a plan for it. We'll see. I'm trying to wrangle some stuff together for it. Probably going to play Sons of the Forest, but if not, we'll come up with something. Don't worry, everybody. Now, next week, I really want to play Sea of Thieves. They have that new content coming out, but I'm like also not sure I'll be able to pull that together. So
that's a good show.
We'll
what are you
see.
playing this weekend?
I'm gonna just stare and like kind of look and see what you're playing. Just look at my thing, be like, man, look, he's online. He's playing something. It's hidden. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be looking at my email and just be hoping that someone gets back to me with the code. That's what I'm gonna do. And Fire Emblem Engage. All right. Oh, hey, Jordan, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it.
Of course, brother. Apologies that my internet shut itself halfway through. Blame Virgin Media.
Always do.
I've never taken responsibility for anything I ever do. Blame Virgin Media.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself. Goodbye, and fuck Richard Branson.